It is good to see you guys out today. So it is Friday here in Michigan, and we received a notice from our governor that we're going to be, hold on, that we're going to be, I'm getting some notices on my screen, that we're going to be, okay, hopefully that did it. It's Friday here in Michigan. We received notice from our governor that we're going to be on lockdown until May the 15th. And so, with that said, we've got more time to get ourselves together. We've got more time to position ourselves. We've got more time to make sure that we are ready for when we come out of this. And so, I'm just excited, actually. I'm glad that we're given a little bit more time to do what we have to do. And so, hold on, guys. I'm getting these messages on my screen, and okay, hopefully that's it. Okay, hopefully that's the last one. Maybe you guys aren't seeing it, but actually, with us going, having to stay in until the May 15th, it's going to give us more time. It's going to give us more time to strategize and to refocus and to regroup. And I'm going to mention a few books that I'm going to recommend over this next season. You probably can either download them, get an ebook, or just plan to get them. I've had a few questions, since I've been doing these lives. And one of the questions was, why are you doing this? Why are you taking your time doing this? And one of my New Year's resolutions, in fact, the only New Year's resolution that I had was I want to be a blessing to other people. I have realized in my life that I have achieved a lot, and that's not to pat myself on the back. I have achieved a lot. I've written a lot of books. I've done some amazing things in my life, of which I'm very proud of, especially being a little ghetto girl that came from the projects, the Jeffries projects, whose father was committed to pull us out of the projects. And I'm just thankful. That's the word I really want to say, is thankful for what the Lord has done in my life. And so with that said, I said I want to help people this year. I want people to realize that you don't have to live the life that you're in, that you can achieve more, that you can go for more, that you can do more. And the example that I often look at is my father. He had a 10th grade education, but he was willing to take the plunge. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, because, again, we've got until May 15th. Hello, everybody that's watching. Thank you for tuning in, and we're just going to be with you for a few minutes today. But we have until May 15th for some of us, and it may be extended even longer for those of us that have different type of jobs, or if your jobs require you to be close with other people, you're going to have to, you may be in a little bit longer. And so with that said, I do want to give a shout out to all of the frontliners, all of those that have been on the front line working, the nurses, the doctors, the policemen, the firemen, the paramedical profession, all of the anesthesiologists, the nurses' assistants. I mean, everybody that's been in that line of duty that have been defending all of us. And so I just want to commend you. And I was thinking earlier today, when I started my journey in college, I always wanted to be a nurse. That was my whole goal, is that I wanted to be a nurse. But then I realized that I could not handle organic chemistry, and I could not handle the math. And so I had to really come to grips with myself and be honest with myself and say, I don't think this is, I thought this was my passion. I thought this was something that I always wanted to do in my life. I thought this is where I wanted to be in terms of helping people, because it's always been in my heart to help people. But when I got real with myself, when I realized that I could not cut the stringent classes needed to get into the School of Nursing at Michigan State University. It was an eye opener. So what I ended up doing, I ended up going to Michigan State University, go green, and I went through my sophomore year, and it was time to declare a major. It was time to say what was going to be my final focus in getting my undergrad degree. And I had a suite mate that was studying to be a nurse. She had one room over. And she was in the books. When I say 24/7, I mean 24/7. She's a doctor right now. But she stayed in the books. She studied hard. She got good grades. And you know what? That's exactly what she was supposed to do. She was supposed to study hard. She could deal with the math. She could deal with the chemistry. And I realized that I was probably more of a social butterfly as opposed to one that was committed to studying as hard as she did. So I did something that I don't recommend everybody to do, but sometimes you've got to take that plunge. So I took the handbook at Michigan State University, and it was probably about this thick. And I closed my eyes and I prayed. And I said, Lord, wherever it lands on, that's going to be my new degree. That's what I'm going to major in. And it landed on urban development and city planning. And I immediately went right over to the College of Urban Development and City Planning, and I enrolled, and I ended up getting a degree in that and absolutely loved it. I went from struggling in all my college classes, getting ready to be booted out of Michigan State University, to making the dean's list the first semester that I enrolled. So I'm saying that to sometimes we're in a groove and we think that is where we're supposed to be, but we're not true to our hearts. So I'm just asking you, while we're in this coronavirus season, be true to your heart. Be true to the passions that are in your heart. Be true to the dreams that God has given you. And please, please, please don't push them aside any longer. And the other reason I'm very, very strong about us pursuing our gifts and pursuing our dreams is I'm of the faith. I am a believer. And I firmly believe that we're getting to these last days. And in the last days, if you read the Bible, if you read Mark 24, and it talks about, when the Lord is going to return, the following chapter after that talks about how Jesus gave us all gifts. And what are we doing with the gifts that he's given us? And I mean, some people have all sorts of gifts. Some people have the gift to sew. Some people have the gift to sing. Some people have the gift to cook. Some people have the gift to write. Some people even have the gift to talk. We have a little guy in our daycare. This little boy will debate you and he will talk you down. And so, what he doesn't have a smart mouth is that he's going to be an attorney. And so you've got to know where your gifts are and passionately pursue them. And so what I want to talk about today is, how do you discover your gifts? How do you dig down in you and say, this is what I'm really supposed to be doing? And the first thing I believe is that, what can you do all day and never get paid for? If they didn't pay you a penny, what could you do? Would it be writing all day? Would it be cooking all day? Would it be singing all day? Would it be painting all day? Would it be administrating all day? Would it be working with children all day? What could you do without getting paid for it? And I want us, again, this is a season we can step back and really reflect on our life. Reflect on, are we exactly where God wants us to be, or are we doing something just because it has been our life? So make a decision. Make a decision that you're going to look at, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? And I see Deborah Ivy, she's a hairdresser, and she loves what God has given her, the gifts that God has given her in terms of doing hair. She can hook it up. So that is her passion. That is her passion. In addition to, she's a comedian as well. And so those two things, if you get her in those lanes, she can excel. And so I'm telling you, what is your lane? What is that one thing you can do and never get paid for? What could you do that you just absolutely love to do? What could you do that when you're finished doing it, you're ready to go to bed and start all over again? So again, while we're in this season, think about that. So take out a notepad and just over the next couple of days, just decide what is it really on my heart to do? What can I be doing? Another way that you can really find your gifts and discover your passions is what gives you joy. What puts a smile on your face? What makes you happy? What makes you say, wow, that was fun? Or, whoa, we can do it again. Let's go for it again. What is that one, or what are those two things that you enjoy doing that gives you joy, that gives you peace? Not something that gives you frustration, or not something that you have to do out of obligation, because again, some of us have been working on our jobs out of obligation. I'm saying that this season that we're in, I just believe it is a great season that God has given us all an opportunity to hit the reboot button. He's given us all an opportunity to reset our life, restart our life, redirect our life, refocus our life. So this is the prime opportunity for you to discover what gives you joy, what gives you peace, what satisfies you. And once you begin to narrow those things down, you'll quickly find what your purpose is. You have to listen to that inner voice. We all have an inner voice, and you have to listen to that inner voice. And like I said, when I was at Michigan State University, I had this voice in the back of my head, and it came out in my grades that I could not do organic chemistry. I could not do all the math that was required of me to do if I was going to go into the School of Nursing. And so you have to be real with yourself. Because if you are not real with yourself, if you're not honest with yourself, you'll continue to go down a road that won't bring you fulfillment in life. And even when I go into hospitals now, I nudge my husband and I say, thank God for nurses. And thank God I'm not a nurse, because this was not where I was supposed to be. I knew in my heart that I wanted to help people, but I knew that nursing was not it. And so as we zero in to discover our passion, to discover our gifts, to really discover why we were made, I'm telling you, take that pen and paper out and you write down there what gives you joy, what gives you peace, what could you do all day and never get paid for it. The other thing you have to look at is what angers you, what gets you mad, what gets you upset. I have a friend, she realized that she is now supposed to be doing something for the sex trafficking that's happening in our world, and I pray that it has gone down. But she realized that she wants to help those that have been victims of sex trafficking, and it is a passion of her heart. I mean, on her Facebook page, she's always posting children that have been assaulted, children have been kidnapped. She's been holding conferences as well, and that is her passion. So you have to look at what angers you, what makes you upset. That leads you, it's almost like a funnel. It's almost like we're taking a funnel to get exactly where we need to be in life, to get into our groove. Because if not, we'll just be chasing the squirrels. And if you've ever had an opportunity to look at squirrels, squirrels amaze me. I was, we live in an area where we have some woods behind us. So I'll sit out my kitchen window and I'll look at those squirrels, and they're having lots of fun. But let me tell you, I think squirrels are close to being just a little ADHD, because they'll go from one tree to the other tree. They'll hop on this one. They'll chase after one another and then turn around and the other one will be chasing them. And they'll go up the tree and they'll just take leaps. And they are just really amazing to watch. And so we can't be like that. We've got to really begin to narrow our focus and really get into that groove of where we're supposed to be. And again, the reason I am so passionate about this is I believe that these days are being numbered. I believe that, I'm a woman of faith, and I will not deny it. I just believe that God's going to be coming back soon, and he's going to be asking everybody, what did you do with the gifts that I gave you? What did you do with your hands? What did you do with that smart brain I gave you? What did you do with the gifts? And so we can't say, I was, I. No, it's not that. It's all about you, because when we stand before God, it's just going to be you. It's not going to be anybody else around you. And it's going to be you looking directly into the eyes of the Lord. And he's going to say, did you do what I asked you to do? And the one thing about discovering our gifts and discovering our talents is that we can't compare ourselves to somebody else. Somebody else's gifts and their road in life is going to be different from yours. And so you cannot compare. And that's one of the things that we do often in life that gets us off track. We always look at what somebody else is doing next to us, or what somebody else is doing. You got to look at what you've been called to do, and what skills you have, and what abilities you have. And like I said, when I was at Michigan State, my suite mate, she lived right next, we shared a bathroom. This girl was up, and when I say 24/7, I mean 24/7. She probably rested, napped for a couple hours, and she got right back up, and she was in those books. She was studying to get into the school of nursing too. We were both studying at the same time. And so I looked at her, I said, oh my goodness, I don't study the way she studies. I am not that committed to nursing the way she was committed to get into the school of nursing. I didn't have that same commitment. So I had to be real with myself. And she's a doctor to this day. And I look back and I say, thank God I didn't follow her, because she was over there studying. I had to be real with me. So in this season, you've got to be real with yourself and say, what is it that I like to do? What do I have that I can do with my hands? What can I do that brings me joy? What angers me? What difference do I want to make in my life? And that's the bottom line. What do you want to be known for? What do you want to have this mark in your life known for? Now is the time to work toward it. When we discover our gifts, success happens when we work at it. A discovery happens when we work at it. So we cannot be lazy, folks, and just expect greatness to come. Greatness is in us, but we've got to pull it out. We've got to be really, again, busy with what we're supposed to be doing. And so I'm just here to challenge you. In fact, when we're born, many of us and many of our parents didn't know. They just birthed us, and they didn't know what we were supposed to do. But I believe that we're all grown folks now, and it's up to us. We cannot blame our parents. We cannot blame anybody else. You have to point the finger to you. And Michael Jackson had one of my favorite songs. I think it is my favorite song. Is I'm talking about the man in the mirror. And so every day when you look in that mirror, are you pursuing and doing what God has asked you to do? So I want to leave you with 3 books. I said I wanted to leave you with 3 books today to think about, and if you could download them, great. One that I bought this one years ago, but I pulled it out this week and just to look at it again. It's called The Road to Reinvention. And I said, this is so timely. It's by Josh Linkner. And he writes an article in Sunday's newspaper every Sunday. And he has just a great column every Sunday in the second section of the newspaper. He has a great column, and it's usually always talking about reinventing yourself, retooling yourself, re-strategizing, repositioning yourself. And that's the season that we're in. We're in the season to reinvent us, to get back to what we were created to do, get back to the dreams that's on our heart. So I'm sure you can download it. I have a hard copy. Actually, I was at a conference and he signed it. He signed it for me. So pick that one up, The Road to Reinvention. Also, who was my mentor, a person that I dearly loved, is Dr. Miles Monroe. And he wrote a great book called Overcoming Crisis. And this is a great book where he talks about how do you manage yourself in a crisis? What do you do while you're in a crisis? And one of the things he talks about is looking at yourself and looking at your life and what can I do differently? How can I strategize differently? So I do want to recommend this book, and I'm sure you can get it on Amazon or either go to milesmonroe.com and you can download it from there. And then lastly, I am going to push a product today. This is a book that I wrote. It's called Dare to Believe. How do you turn the dreams into your heart, into being purposeful in your life? And so you can go to my website and get that But I wanted to just kind of leave you with those. And so we know that greatness is in all of us, but we've got to pull it out. This season of the coronavirus season, I thoroughly believe it did not come from God, but God has given us an opportunity to reboot. And when you think about your computer, when your computer goes down, you have to reboot it and everything comes back up. We are in a reboot season. We are in a refocus season. We are in a re-strategizing season. And it's going to make us better, stronger, more purposeful. And so we've got to be willing to take advantage of the time that we've been given. You know, everybody's been given the same measure of time. The key is, what do we do with the time that we have? And so wrapping up, I just wanted to end with three things. And I was thinking earlier today about all of the people that are really on the front lines. And I thought about the firemen. And when they've come to our school, our church, we have a preschool and we have a school. And so we'll bring the firemen in periodically to talk to the kids, and the children can get on the truck and see the fire truck. But then they normally sit with the children and they give them strategies if they're ever confronted with a fire, or if they're ever in a house fire, or they're ever in a situation. They give them these three words: stop, drop, and roll. So I was kind of thinking on that and meditating on that today. And I believe that we're in the stop, drop, and roll environment. We all need to, stop. Just stop what we're doing and take inventory of our lives. So we're going to stop what we're doing. We're not going to keep doing business as usual. Business is no more as usual. But we're going to stop and we're going to refocus on our lives. We're going to take the microscope and look inward, and we're going to see what adjustments do we have to make. So we're going to stop. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to drop to our knees, and we're going to say, God, I need your wisdom. I need your wisdom in moving forth in life, in moving forward in life. God, tell me what I should be doing in the season. And so we're going to drop. We're going to drop our knees, drop to our knees, and we're just going to ask God for his wisdom, because he desires for us to live the best life. And so he has been desiring to talk to us and speak to us and give us comfort. And so we're going to stop all that we're doing, and we're going to refocus on us. We're going to turn that microscope on us, and that magnifying glass on us. And we're going to look at the things that we've been having in our heart and things that we've been doing in our life and seeing, is it necessary? And then we're going to drop to our knees, and we're going to ask God for his wisdom, and ask God, Lord, what do I do next? What's my new next? What should I be focusing on? What gifts did you give me? Stop. We've been living this life in a rat race, and we haven't had a chance to pause. And the third thing we're going to do is roll. We're going to roll all our cares on God, because he cares for us. And we have to know that God, he's got our back. So we're going to do three things. We're going to stop, we're going to drop, and we're going to roll. So we're going to stop all that we're doing and pull back and refocus, reboot, retool, and reinvent our life. We're going to drop. We're going to drop to our knees, and we're going to say, God, give us your wisdom. Give us your strategy for this new season. And when we come out of this season, God, we want to hear your voice. We don't want to do anything that we should not be doing. But we want to live so close to you, God, that our relationship with God is so tight and so close that we can hear him when he speaks to us. And the last thing we're going to do, we're going to roll all our cares on him. Every care that we have over our family, over our children, over our finances, over our friends, over our job, over our businesses, over our new season, over our coming out and developing what God has given us to do. We're going to roll all our cares on him, because we have to know without a shadow of a doubt that our God loves us and he has the best plan for us. So I just wanted to motivate and to encourage you today. As it's Friday, we've got the weekend coming up. So this is a great time for reflection, a great time for you to pull out those journals and write some things down. It's a great time for you to think about retooling. It's a great time for you to say, how do I discover my gifts? And let me go over those again. Again, you want to name one thing that you could do all day and never get paid for it. You want to name something that brings you joy. You want to find out what angers you. You want to find out that what gives you joy. You want to listen to that inner voice that leads and directs you. And lastly, what do you want to be known for? When it's all said and done, what do you want folks to remember you for? So I want to say God bless you. Have a great weekend, and I look forward to chatting with you guys soon. If you got any questions, definitely hit me up on Facebook or email me, Sylvia@sylviajordan.com, or you can go to my website, sylviajordan.com. But let's stay connected, because I really want to see all of you guys fulfill the purposes for which God created you to do and to be in this life. God bless you, and we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. Okay, let's see why it's not finishing.